right. Fade to black breaking news for this Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. This is all of the news that you need. I'm Jimmy Church. Let's get straight to it on this day in history, 1933. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signs the Beer and Wine Revenue Act. The Beer and Wine Revenue Act was followed in December 1933 by the passage of the 21st Amendment, which officially ended prohibition. That's right, on this day in 1933. Let's get to your Fader fact. This is for genocide. Fader fact. The average American breast size increased in the last 20 years. That's right. All of this according to a new study of 60,000 participants. The average American bra size has increased from 34B to 34 double D. That's about 3 full cup sizes up. Okay, so there you go. That is your Fader fact. Let's get to the breaking news. California is in the middle of another powerful atmospheric river storm this week. It is raining right now as I speak to you, continuing the onslaught of major weather whiplash after a years-long historic mega drought. Many welcome this winter's heavy rain and snow since it was so desperately needed to replenish the state's severely drained reservoirs and depleted groundwater. But the storms just keep coming. That's right. California is now facing its 12th significant atmospheric river since the parade of strong storms began back in December. We are now at the end of March. The actual count is 29, by the way, but the media says 12, so the number is 12. This week's storm will rapidly strengthen and could become a bomb cyclone, a storm that rapidly intensifies at a rate of at least 24 millibars of pressure in 24 hours. The latest storm covers the San Francisco Bay Area all the way down here to Southern California. All right. Where would you go after using a toothbrush to stage a daring escape from prison? What would you do? Well, for 2 Virginia criminals, the answer was IHOP, the International House of Pancakes. And that cost them their freedom. Inmates John Garza and Arlie Nemo used primitive-made tools fashioned from a toothbrush and a metal object to dig a hole through a wall in a jail in Newport News, Virginia. All of this according to the Newport News Sheriff's Office. The pair then climbed multiple walls and escaped, but their freedom didn't last too long because the very next morning, they were caught in an IHOP in Hampton, Virginia, where they were eating a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity. Some things you just can't make up. Trilobites, a group of extinct marine arthropods, had a hidden third eye. And sometimes even a fourth or fifth, according to Bridget Schoenemann at the Institute of Zoology at the University of Cologne in Germany. Paleontologists knew that these hard-shelled prehistoric sea creatures had a pair of regular compound eyes, which they used to see during the Paleozoic era about 541 million years ago. But Bridget and her team recently discovered a median eye located in the middle of the long-dead creature's foreheads, a common characteristic in arthropods today. There you go. Trilobites had a third eye. All right, check this out. My favorite museum in the world, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, has more than 1,000 objects in its collection that have ties to people involved in crimes related to the antiquities trade, according to a new report by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, sparking heightened scrutiny of the largest and most visited museum in the United States. At least 1,109 pieces in the Met's collection were previously owned by individuals who have been indicted or convicted of crimes, including looting and trafficking. One example, and it's beautiful, is Celestial Dancer Devata, an 11th century Indian statue linked to the convicted antiquity smuggler Subhash Kapoor, who was last year sentenced to 10 years in prison. They have another 84 objects from Subhash. There you go. In a scientific first, a team led by physicists at the University of California, Irvine, has detected neutrinos created by a particle collider. Here we go. The discovery promises to deepen scientists' understanding of subatomic particles, which were first spotted in 1956, and display a key role in the process that makes stars. In the latest result from the Forward Search experiment, or otherwise known as Phaser, a particle detector designed and built by an international group of physicists, and it is installed at CERN, the European Council for Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland. There, Phaser detected particles produced by CERN's Large Hadron Collider. Brian Peterson, a particle physicist at CERN, announced the results this past Sunday on behalf of Phaser at the 57th Rencontres de Montréal Electro Week Interactions and Unified Theories Conference in Italy. All right. Now, Ludwig. Yeah. Ludwig van Beethoven died on March 27th, 1827. It was his wish that his ailments be studied and shared, so, and I'm quoting Ludwig, quote, as far as possible, and at least the world will be reconciled to me after my death, end quote. That was from Ludwig. Now, researchers have taken steps to partially honor that request by analyzing Beethoven's DNA. All of this from preserved locks of his hair and sequencing the composer's genome. All of this for the first time. A study detailing the findings published yesterday, Wednesday, in the journal Current Biology. The 5 hair samples helped scientists discover insights about family history, chronic health, and what might have actually contributed to his death at the age of 56. So what did they find out? Well, they found evidence of an infection of hepatitis B. They also found celiac disease, an autoimmune condition, lactose intolerance, and irritable bowel syndrome. That's right. They should have just left things alone. The hair that had excessive lead discovered years ago, as it turns out, didn't belong to him. It wasn't his DNA. So he didn't die from lead poisoning. He just drank too much milk. All right. A 90-year-old tortoise, native to Madagascar, the oldest animal at the Houston Zoo, is now a first-time dad. I'm going to leave you with this. Mr. Pickles moved to the Texas facility 36 years ago and partnered up with Mrs. Pickles 27 years ago. And now here's the deal. The couple remained childless until recently when a worker noticed Mrs. Pickles' eggs and quickly took them to the zoo's reptile and amphibian house. Houston soil, as it turns out, is unsuitable for tortoise eggs, so they had to remove them. But now, 3 eggs from the Pickles pair have hatched. The new tortoises, named Dill, Gherkin, and Jalapeno, will stay at the building until they are big enough to safely join their parents. And that is amazing. Yeah. And that's all the Fade to Black breaking news that you need for this Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Fade to Black breaking news is produced by Renee Newman. I'm Jimmy Church. Go Beckley Tepe.